You're still with Media Live. You can get interactive on Facebook and Twitter as News on TV3. On our Facebook page, we're asking you your thoughts about the teachers' strike action. There are lots of comments here, but we'll go straight to the Ashanti region, where we have one of our reporters, William Evans. He's been following up on the strike action declared by teachers last Friday, and he has been speaking to some of the students. We will quickly hand over to him to give us more on the strike action in the Ashanti region and how this is affecting pupils over there. But while we're still trying to get him, okay, so we have Evans there now.
The two teaching bodies, that is NAT and NAGRAT, have actually activated via...
So whosoever did so would be doing disservice to the association. That's what is the situation as of now.
All right, well, thank you very much, Robert Abilba. He also gave us the picture and what's happening really with regards to the strike action in the Volta region. But we move on to some other stories. And the principal of the Center for Strategic Leadership and Entrepreneurship, Pastor Wilson Senya, says acquiring entrepreneurial skills is key in reducing unemployment figures. He was speaking at the 4th graduation ceremony at the center in Accra.
Over 70 students who underwent through the 6 weeks intensive entrepreneurial training at the Center for Strategic Leadership and Entrepreneurship passed out. The training equipped participants on skills on starting businesses, as well as broadening their knowledge on better customer relations. Students were exposed to field work and also assigned to business entities as a way of nurturing their abilities to set up and operate businesses. The program is aimed at supporting government's efforts at cushioning the private sector to take up the challenge of leading the country's development agenda.
The challenge we are having is not about funding. The challenge we are having is that a lot of people are idea bankrupt. How can we get young people to look at opportunities that we have? It is the major thing to curb the unemployment challenge in our country. If we can get more young people, more of our people into focusing on themselves and the ability they have in them, and then we will come in and other agencies will come in and equip them and give them the platform to go up.
We're bringing you more on the teacher strike action from across the country, and we have Upper East correspondent Rabiu Tanko on the phone line. Hello, Rabiu.
Hello, Wendy.
Now, what is the situation in the Upper East region?
Okay, thank you very much. The strike action has really started in the Upper East region, Wakatanga to be precise. This morning, between the hours of 10 and 11, most of the schools I visited, teachers have abandoned their classrooms, grouped at different locations, sitting idle. The teachers confirmed to me of their actions and said until their demands are met, they will continue to be on strike. On the part of the people, a lot of them have gone home while others took advantage of the strike to play around instead of going home, saying they can't go home now because their parents will not understand them because it's not closing time. The DSS candidates are the only students currently at the schools I visited, learning individual and groups because the BEC is around the corner. Unfortunately, I am not able to speak to the leadership of NAT due to their tight schedule.
All right, now, Rabiu, if you've been able to talk to some of the pupils and parents, what are they saying about the strike action?
Yeah, for now, they are saying they can't do anything because some of them were surprised to come to school this morning and they were told that the teachers are on strike, and then, some of them were even confused, while others were crying, especially the candidates who are to write the BEC.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Rabiu Tanko. He's our correspondent in the Upper East region. He was also telling us, yes, the strike action has taken effect. It started last Friday, has taken effect in the Upper East region. We continue with more stories on Media Life. Staff and student of the National Vocational Training Institute have jointly undertaken a health walk to keep fit. The 3-hour exercise took them through the principal streets of Accra. Scores of students and staff on it of NVTI took part in the fitness walk. The exercise started from the Obra Sports through Nima, Gata down through to Rich 37 and finally ending at the school's head office. The walk dubbed Healthy Life, a boost to skill acquisition and higher productivity, according to organizers, was to help create awareness on the need to support vocational education. The executive director, Stephen Ponsa, of the training school encouraged students to develop more interest in the vocation in order to acquire better profession in the future. Well, we'll go for a break here, but Anike Asari is standing by for business news.
$9,005 tons and 19,455 tons. The situation could affect demand and supply, but producers spoke on prices.
It will not affect the prices of cement anytime soon. What we are stressing is the significant losses in production we have had in Takoradi due to the unreliable power supply. We will be able to produce whatever the demand of cement is in the country together with our competitors, but it requires that we have a reliable electricity supply. If not, we will not be able to make it.
Government says short-term measures are underway to cushion manufacturers.
Government will, in the short and medium term, find adequate answers into improving access to the utility services of all industries across the country, and may even consider in future dedicated energy sources for purposes of powering industries.
But there's still more challenges with supply of limestone. 5 cement producers now compete for the limited 24% concession derived from locals at Yulekrobo, whilst imported clinker compete for 2 berthing space at the port, accruing high demurrage costs. Gassem, for instance, paid $9 and $5 million in 2011 and 2012, affecting operations. Cement producers say unfair trade practice is also another hindrance.
We need to strengthen our ECOWAS protocol and agree on common tariff regime and open up our market. Government will not accept a situation where we open our doors to others and they close windows on us. We need fair trade, and the ministry will take responsibility through the establishment of the International Tariff Advisory Committee.
And talking about pricing on the markets, one also comes to play, which is the commodity prices. Not seeing too many positives at the beginning of the week, this week on the commodity markets. And this has been quickly attributed to the Cyprus issue, which has accounted for the shortfalls on the commodity market. But for the prices of gold, we saw some positives. They will be looking more into detail into that later. But I understand my colleague Roland is standing by at the International Customs Conference, which is taking place here in Accra, and we will join him quite soon. We will just hand over to him to give us more detail on that. But let me just touch on the commodity prices. As I stated, unprecedented levy on bank deposits in Cyprus accounting for the increased demand for oil. Oil prices now rating at $108.22 with a negative price change of 1.58 on the international market. All the commodities saw negative recorded, but for gold, investor confidence still high there. We saw some positives recorded. $10.87 was the price change as compared to that of closing business day last Friday, $1,603.04. So that is how the commodity market is faring. Let's continue with the bulletin. And the Chief Director at the Finance Ministry, Major Tara, says President Mahama's first term of office will focus on the implementation of programs that consolidate the country's fledgling middle-income status. He was speaking at a post-budget workshop for budget officers in the northern sector of the country.
The post-budget workshop was organized jointly by the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Information and Media Relations. Participants from the Ashanti, Bonahafo, Upper East and West regions were schooled on the budget. They were also briefed on the various components of the 2013 budget to enable them to further disseminate the information at the various decentralized levels. Outgoing Ashanti Regional Minister Samuel Sapon said the workshop would help budget officers play their respective roles meaningfully.
Government, however, believes that the extent to which it will be successful in advancing the Better Ghana agenda largely depends on the level at which the general public appreciates government vision as enshrined in all major policy documents such as the budget statement.
The Chief Director at the Ministry of Finance, Major Samuel Tara, spoke about the passage of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act to direct use of identifiable oil and gas revenues.
It is my hope that after today's briefing by our able resource persons, you will be fully empowered with detailed understanding of the 2013 budget statement for onward dissemination to the general Ghanaian population through your various platforms.
And besides the commodity markets not faring too well, apart from gold, which rose as high as 1,600, well, I'd like to tell you that this is the first time in the whole month that we've had this price. Well, the Ghana cedi also didn't fare well against the dollar as well as the euro. We'll bring you the figures later. But my colleague Roland Walker is standing by at the International Customs Conference, which is taking place here in Accra, and we'll be handing over to him shortly. Right, so Roland Walker is standing by at the International Customs Conference, which is taking place right here in Accra. He'll be bringing us up to minute interviews and updates on what is really happening there. But as I was saying earlier, trading on Monday saw the local units lose 0.31% of its previous day's value to the dollar amid high demand for the latter. Now, the cedi also lost 0.79% of its week open value to the pound sterling and 0.90% to both the euro and the CFA. I understand my colleague Roland is now ready. Let's hand over to him now. Well, it seems Roland is still preparing to bring us those updates. But before we join Roland for that quick one, let's just take some international news now. And new home prices rose in 66 of China's 70 major cities in February, underlining the challenge its new leaders face in controlling the sector. Keeping property prices in check has been a key agenda for Beijing, not least due to fears of asset bubbles. Now, earlier this month, China unveiled fresh measures, including higher down payment requirements to try and curb speculation in the sector. New home prices in Beijing in February rose 5.9% from a year earlier, while they advanced 8.1% in Guangzhou and 3.4% in Shanghai. All right, so my colleague Roland is now ready there at the International Customs Conference being held here in Accra.
Sandwich you in the middle. Okay, that'll be all right. I have to ask you, critical is this very conference you're having today?
Yeah, it is important because it's bringing together the experts of customs administration in West and Central Africa. These are the people, the policy makers who come and deliberate on the challenges facing the various customs administration and make recommendations for their director generals who will be joining them on Wednesday. So it's a very important meeting conference, and it brings together 23 African customs administrations for West and Central Africa. They are coming together to look at the problems that confront them as individual countries, and collectively also the challenges that the customs administrations face in the region. So it's a very important conference.
Now, in coming back to the issues that we face in the sub-regions, we're looking at Central and West African sub-regions. Which are the challenges that you think are common to both sub-regions?
Well, you realize that most of the problems confronting the sub-region, you see, we derive all our revenue from, imports, taxes on imports and exports. Aside of that, of late, you realize that there are other issues like cross-border crime activities, proliferation of small arms, and of late, what is happening in the global world, security, and terrorism. These are things that are, every country is facing. And then so we've come to look at some of these challenges. How can we collaborate? How can we share information, to counteract and check all these things? Again, you realize the money laundering too is also now becoming a problem. All based on all these things, borders on security. So how can these experts, we share ideas, what is confronting each of the member administrations in this sub-region, and see how best, we can find solutions to these things.
As far as we're concerned, in West Africa, there's always the talk about the need to improve on the protocols of ECOWAS, and as far as the free movement of labor and goods and services are concerned. Do you think that as countries within the sub-region, we can achieve that?
Oh yes, to a large extent. If you track the performance and achievement from the time of inception till now, we have made quite a number of success. We've chalked some success. Of course, we need to deepen it to the level where our citizenry get it at the very basic grassroots. But at the level of protocols, we have finalized those protocols. We are implementing them. As you